breaking news hot off the press, and the moment we all have been waiting for has happened. That is the ratings for Caitlin Clark's first game back.
A preseason WNBA game just crushed NHL Playoff ratings, and it wasn't even close. The player behind it, Caitlin Clark, and what happened next sent shockwaves through the entire sports world.
And guys, I'm here to tell you, it did not take long for the world to find out the truth. And the truth of the matter is, Caitlin Clark is the biggest star in all of basketball.
It wasn't a championship. It wasn't even a regular season opener. It was a meaningless preseason matchup. Indiana Fever versus Brazil. And yet 1.3 million people tuned in to watch it live. That's not just impressive. That's unheard of.
It is unbelievable what it is Caitlin Clark does. This was Sunday's game against the Brazilian national team, Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City. This was a preseason WNBA game.
For context, that's more viewers than most NBA preseason games in the last 15 years. And it didn't stop there. Caitlin Clark's debut outdrew Game 1 of last year's WNBA Finals. Not regular season, the actual championship round. And while all this was happening, Angel Reese was making her own return to LSU, to a half-empty arena.
They did not open the upper bowl, and the lower bowl was half empty. It was at under 50% capacity. And obviously, look, the area of the crowd where the TV cameras are being shown was full. But it was under 50% capacity.
But before we get to that, watch closely, because these numbers don't just tell a story. They expose a massive gap that's ripping through women's basketball right now. And the reaction from fans, from families, even from Angel Reese's own mom, it gets messy.
This news will probably leave Angel Reese's mom in shambles.
Now watch what happens when Caitlin Clark steps onto the court for her first WNBA preseason game. It's a matchup against Brazil, no playoff implications, no hype machine pushing it. Just a game, or so people thought, but by the end of the night, over 1.3 million people had tuned in to see her play. Let that number sink in. This wasn't the finals. This wasn't a rivalry showdown. This was her debut in a Fever jersey, and it broke through everything.
Caitlin Clark's preseason debut drew 1.3 million viewers.
And here's where things get wild. That single game beat out multiple NHL playoff matchups airing on the same day. One of the NHL games was behind by 430,000 viewers. Another, it was trailing by nearly 800,000. That's not just a win, that's a demolition.
This game beat NHL playoff ratings. Think about that a minute. National Hockey League playoff ratings, a WNBA game, a preseason WNBA game, not only beat those ratings, destroyed them.
Even more jaw-dropping, Clark's preseason game had more viewers than any NBA preseason game since 2018.
More watched than any NBA game, preseason game, since 2018.
With only 2 exceptions going all the way back to 2010. And yes, one of those exceptions was LeBron James's Lakers debut.
Only 2 NBA preseason games in the last 15 years had bigger ratings than this game. One of them was LeBron's Los Angeles Lakers debut preseason game.
Did you catch that? Caitlin Clark is being mentioned in the same sentence as LeBron James. Not for marketing hype, but for actual viewership dominance. We're talking about a rookie who has instantly become the biggest television draw in women's basketball. And all this, before she's even played a regular season minute.
This proves everything. And this furthermore let me know this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning of what is in store for the 2025 season.
But it gets crazier, because this isn't just about the numbers. It's about who got left behind, and that brings us to Angel Reese. Now, if you thought outdrawing the NHL playoffs was wild, wait until you hear this, because Caitlin Clark's preseason debut didn't just beat hockey, it outperformed the WNBA's own championship series. That's right, one preseason game with no stakes and no playoff drama drew more viewers than Game 1 of the 2024 WNBA Finals.
It outdrew Game 1 of the 2024 WNBA Finals.
Think about that for a second. The league's biggest stage, the finals, couldn't pull the same numbers as one rookie's warm-up. Let that settle in. Game 1 of the WNBA Finals is supposed to be the crown jewel of women's basketball. It's the event that teams battle for all season, and yet it got overshadowed by a preseason blowout between Indiana and Brazil.
This Caitlin Clark preseason game outdrew the finals Game 1 rating from last year.
That's not just impressive, that's historic, and the numbers weren't even close. Clark's 1.3 million viewers eclipsed the WNBA Finals broadcast, and in doing so, sent a clear signal. Caitlin Clark isn't just part of the WNBA, she's its engine. This is what happens when someone doesn't just play the game, they redefine it. Fans didn't show up for a Fever versus Brazil matchup, they showed up because of her. Because with Clark on the court, even a meaningless exhibition becomes appointment television.
I mean, come on.
And the best part? She didn't need a final storyline. She didn't need trash talk, media hype, or controversy to pull numbers. She just needed a basketball and a camera. Meanwhile, the league's biggest event last year, it couldn't match her debut. But while Clark was drawing record-breaking eyeballs and sold-out crowds, another player, a one who was supposed to be just as marketable, was having a very different homecoming.
There's only one that people are going to go out and watch, and it's not Hailey Van Lith, and it's most definitely not Angel Reese.
While Caitlin Clark was lighting up TV ratings and selling out 15,000-seat arenas, Angel Reese was returning to the very place that made her a star, LSU. You'd think it would have been a celebration, a packed house, a hero's welcome, but what happened next caught everyone off guard. Watch this. LSU's Pete Maravich Assembly Center holds over 13,000 fans. This was supposed to be a special moment. Reese back on campus, playing in front of the same fans who cheered her to a national title. But when the final attendance numbers dropped, only 6,373 fans showed up. That's not just a light crowd, that's less than half full. Over 6,800 seats empty.
At LSU's, at the college where Angel Reese won the national championship, she made a homecoming, and the arena was less than half full. 13,215 available seats was the capacity. They didn't even sell half of those.
And here's the kicker. This wasn't some random Tuesday scrimmage. It was marketed as a homecoming, a pro return. But the stands told a different story, one of diminishing demand. While Clark had fans camping outside Carver Hawkeye Arena just to watch her warm up, Reese played in an arena full of empty bleachers. You can't ignore that contrast. One player made her debut in front of a sold-out standing room only crowd. The other couldn't draw 50% capacity in the exact place she once reigned. And it gets even worse when you consider the prices. Clark's fans were paying up to $670 per seat just to witness a preseason game. Meanwhile, tickets for Reese's return were widely available and still didn't move. You have to ask, what happened?
Just drew 1.3 million viewers for a preseason game.
Was it promotion? Was it timing? Or is it something deeper? Something the numbers are starting to reveal? Because if Caitlin Clark is filling arenas and breaking viewership records, while Angel Reese can't fill half of her old college gym, the conversation is no longer about potential, it's about proof.
One is moving the needle, the other one is not even fluttering it.
But just when the comparison started heating up, the backlash came fast, and from someone very close to Reese. And just when the numbers started doing all the talking, the internet lit up, not with praise, but with pushback. Because while sports fans and analysts were comparing Caitlin Clark's 1.3 million viewers to Angel Reese's half-empty homecoming, someone else decided to jump in, Angel Reese's mom.
All the while, you got Angel Reese's mom. By the way, she put this out in the public space.
And just when the numbers started doing all the talking, the internet lit up, not with praise, but with pushback. Because while sports fans and analysts were comparing Caitlin Clark's 1.3 million viewers to Angel Reese's half-empty homecoming, someone else decided to jump in, Angel Reese's mom. That's right. In a now viral post on social media, Reese's mother took direct aim at the people calling attention to attendance numbers, viewership stats, and performance comparisons. Her exact words. That certain fan base is in the stands celebrating attendance, while others are looking up in the rafters celebrating championship banners. We ain't the same. Let that one breathe for a second.
Oh, that certain fan base looking in the stands, celebrating, quote, attendance, while others are looking up in the rafters celebrating championship banners. We ain't the same. You got that right. Different years, same haters. Have a great day.
We ain't the same. A 5-word mic drop that immediately triggered a firestorm across basketball Twitter. Fans and media figures weren't just responding, they were dissecting, tweeting, and debating whether this was pride or deflection. Because while the message was meant to assert dominance, it actually raised a much bigger question. What matters more, rings or relevance? And here's where things get tricky. Nobody's denying Angel Reese's championship run at LSU. It was iconic, historic. But what happens when you go pro and the support doesn't follow you? What happens when someone else, like Clark, is packing arenas, topping WNBA ratings, and outdrawing entire finals games, all while you're struggling to fill your old college gym? That's the dilemma this message exposed. Was it shade? Was it pride? Or was it frustration that the numbers, for once, weren't on their side? Watch closely, because the response to this post wasn't sympathy, it was resistance. Fans didn't want to hear about banners from last season, while Clark was making history in real time. And whether she meant to or not, Angel Reese's mom just made the divide between these two rising stars even deeper, and even more public. But this whole controversy points to something much bigger, because behind all the numbers, all the quotes, and all the emotion lies a truth the WNBA can't afford to ignore. Here's where everything changes, because once the dust settled from the Twitter spats and viral quotes, one uncomfortable truth started to emerge, and it had nothing to do with personality, college banners, or TikTok trends. It came down to something brutally simple. Who's really showing up? While Angel Reese is undeniably popular on social media with millions of followers and viral Met Gala appearances, that hasn't translated to what actually moves the needle in professional sports. Butts in seats and eyes on screens. And the data proves it. Caitlin Clark isn't just winning headlines, she's delivering results. Ratings, revenue, sold out arenas, appointment TV. This isn't about followers, it's about fan behavior.
Caitlin is the real deal Holyfield. She has a fan base and she has large support.
You see, a social media post might get likes, but it doesn't sell 15,000 tickets at $600 a pop. A trending dance on TikTok might rack up views, but it won't outdraw the NHL playoffs. Caitlin Clark didn't just trend, she converted.
Instagram followers do not translate into viewership on television during actual basketball games.
That's the difference. While others were building personal brands, Clark was building a national fan base, one that shows up, tunes in, and pays attention. And this is where perception shatters, because for months, fans were told this was a two-woman race, Reese versus Clark. But when the numbers rolled in, one name dominated TV screens, highlight reels, and ticket platforms. The other couldn't fill half a building in her own backyard.
This is to be expected because, again, we saw Sky, as far as home games, not get the greatest coverage or not have to sell the most tickets. Like the needle is Caitlin Clark.
The message is clear. In sports, influence isn't about noise. It's about proof. You can be flashy, stylish, and outspoken, and still lose the spotlight to someone who simply performs, connects, and delivers. So now the conversation isn't who's more famous, it's who's more valuable. And based on the way fans are voting with their wallets, their remotes, and their voices, the answer couldn't be louder. But what does this all mean for the league itself? That's where things get really interesting.
The standard, the needle, the motion, the aura, the Caitlin Clark, the one. This is serious, bro. It is definitely getting serious. NBA ratings.
Now here's where things go beyond rivalries, beyond stats, straight into the future of the WNBA. Because what we're seeing isn't just a battle between two rising stars, it's a battle over the direction of the entire league. Look at what Caitlin Clark has done in just one preseason game. Sold out arenas, record-breaking viewership, national media coverage. She's not just playing basketball, she's reshaping the WNBA's economy. Her presence alone raised ticket prices, attracted new sponsors, and triggered more mainstream attention than the league has seen in years. And that's the part that matters most. Clark isn't just a phenom, she's a business model. Teams are now adjusting how they promote games based on when the Fever are coming to town. Road arenas are preparing for sellouts only when she's visiting. Broadcasters are shifting coverage schedules because Clark means guaranteed eyes. That's not potential, that's proven impact. Meanwhile, players who were supposed to bring that same momentum, players with big social media followings, fashion deals, and cultural clout, aren't matching that influence on the court or at the box office. And that's forcing front offices to reevaluate who gets pushed and why. Because the WNBA doesn't just need stars, it needs conversions. Fans who don't just scroll, they show up, they watch, they buy. And right now, Caitlin Clark is the only player consistently doing all three. So while the league celebrates diversity, personality, and individuality, and rightfully so, it also has to answer a bigger question. Who's bringing the future in the door? This was never just about basketball. It was never just about Clark versus Reese or Iowa versus LSU. This is about a shift in culture, in power, in visibility, because in just one preseason game, Caitlin Clark didn't just outperform expectations, she redefined them. 15,000 fans packed an arena, over 1 million more tuned in from home. TV executives took notes, arena owners started making calls, and all while that was happening, half the seats sat empty in Baton Rouge, and excuses filled the void. But here's the reality, fans are choosing with their money, with their remotes, with their time. They're not choosing hashtags, they're not choosing press quotes, they're choosing impact. Caitlin Clark isn't just trending, or she's taking over. And if this is what she's doing before the season even starts, the rest of the league better be ready, because the numbers don't lie, and neither do the fans. If you're ready for the new era of the WNBA, drop a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe, because this story, it's just getting started.